Okay, there we are. All right. I believe, and I am always off by one or two either way. This could possibly be like episode number 22.
Excellent.
That just astounds me that there's that many people in the world that were willing to have a conversation with me so
That's
far.
incredible.
Anyway, I'm even starting to get fan mail, so
You
that's
are?
fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, now all I have to, if I start getting some hate mail, I'll know that I'm
You know
doing
yours
something
good. Yep.
right. Anywho, welcome back, friends. Welcome, new friends. If you've not heard me before, I'm Dawn Scannell, and I help women bounce back and bloom by building their resilience muscle through mindfulness, self-love, personal wellness, gratitude, and what I think might be one of the most important pieces is actually thinking about and defining your sacred support circle, right? Because life happens, bounce back and bloom, baby.
Yeah, baby. No
Baby.
better time than right now this spring.
I know. Oh my gosh. I have so much energy this week, and I know it's all about the weather.
Yes, absolutely.
So you can see Remy over my shoulder here. That window's open, and because look at him listening. Yeah, mom, I'm gonna try and be good. But because they can hear noises they haven't heard all winter, there may be some barky
Oh,
happening at
I
some
have the
point.
same. I have a cat. My window's open, so you may hear some meows as well.
There you go. All right. So today we are here with Jackie. Do you prefer Jackie or Jackalynne?
Jackie.
Jackie. Okay. Jackie,
Mhm.
would you introduce yourself and tell us just a little bit about what's happening with you?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Jackie Vimislik, and I, by day, am in the forensics field and have been a longtime forensic chemist. And I currently work for the Division of Criminal Justice in the Office of Forensic Services. But the reason I feel like I'm here today is because of my side gig, which is called Stress Fracture. And that is a mobile smash room or stress relief experience, as I like to call it. And basically, I started Stress Fracture in 2018 out of my own need for an outlet to relieve stress. Everyone always told me, well, try yoga or go running. And to be quite honest, I'm one of those weirdos that doesn't like yoga. It's too maybe slow for me, or I don't know how to quiet my mind, which is probably exactly why I should take more yoga. But I'm more of a mover and a shaker. I'm a Zumba instructor, so I needed something a little more outside the box, if you will. And the way stress fracture was born was I had dropped some glassware in the lab one day by accident, and I remember that noise. It just did something to me. I don't know what it was, and I literally wanted to go around just breaking everything because that noise was just awesome. And my coworkers felt the same way. So about 6 years later, I had gone on this Be Fearless campaign and decided to start a business. I knew nothing about being a business owner, but the stress I had when I moved to the Albany area in my current position, I needed something. And one day I just wanted to break something. And when I did, I was like, that feels so good. And then I decided to take it to the masses.
Okay. So while it may not be relevant, it is relevant what you do during the day, right?
Yeah,
Because without that piece, we wouldn't be here talking about
this is true. Absolutely.
stress,
That's
the
right.
stress relief, and so tell us more about your job, because we're all sitting here going, ooh, CSI, right? We're thinking all the things. Ooh, she's at the murder
Yes.
scenes, blood splatter.
I
So
wish it were that interesting. Sadly, it is not. However, it is a very rewarding job. Like I said, I had started out in a laboratory, and I was actually working in DNA at the time. It turns out back in 2005, meth labs were on the rise, and they were looking for people to be specially trained with the DEA to basically take down meth labs. And I was like, I'll do it. I'll do it. And it's funny because chemistry was my worst subject in high school and college. So the fact that I ended up being a chemist, still people are like, you're a chemist? I'm like, heck yeah, I am. So you can do whatever you put your mind to. So I ended up being a forensic chemist for about 12 years. And that was very rewarding and very stressful at the same time. You would go to some of these what I'll dub a crime scene, for lack of a better word, where you would find the meth labs, and you would see children in the home, and you would see the living conditions, and it was just so incredibly sad. And then what the people were doing in order to make, meth. So that really, in and of itself, took a toll about 10 years later, because the heroin epidemic that was, the last couple of years, you were finding fentanyl in it, and people were overdosing all the time. And so it just really took a toll on me mentally. And that's when I decided to hang up my shoes as far as being a bench chemist and going out to scenes. And that's when I took the current job I have, which is still in forensics, not actually doing lab work, but I have oversight. Well, my office has oversight of the publicly funded forensic labs in New York State.
Wow. Okay. So that's an important piece of the puzzle, because you mentioned the meth labs, and immediately you can see that Dawn's life revolves around TV. I will tell you that films and TV paid our bills for over 16 years, so I'm in it. But my first, Breaking Bad,
right? Exactly.
but I can understand, because, there is no pretty part to that whole meth piece, right? The people making it, selling it, all of them are broken, right?
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
And beholden to this thing. And it is like, I've read the stories, I've seen the pictures about the babies there being raised right next, in a home with the lab, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Which is just, it's incredible. We focus so much on, the other end of it, right? As far as the media, we see what it does out in our communities.
Absolutely.
But this is also in our communities.
Exactly. And that, like you had said, when you see the babies and the children, they grow up in that, and that's all they know. And then the cycle just continues. And it's really sad, because there was one point where we were going to the same house over and over and over. And at one point you wonder, like, where's the problem in the system? Why aren't these children being taken away? Or, I obviously don't know enough about that to really make a notable comment on it, but you see the same people doing the same thing. And at what point do these children, they don't have a chance, because they're just in the same thing day after day, and that's all they're going to know for their whole life.
All they're going to know for their whole life. And I am not a scientist by any stretch of the imagination, but I do know there is toxic fumes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right? So what does that do to their developing brain?
Exactly.
Over time? Are there deficits that happen because we've left them in that situation?
Absolutely.
I feel like there's so many loopholes in not just this, but a lot of things.
Absolutely.
Right? Like there's so many things to address. And I feel like when people talk about there's not enough jobs, I feel like there's an awful lot of jobs that could be made to fill loopholes like this. And also, let's go back to you. Chemistry was not your favorite subject. Well, I would like to say that you weren't bad at chemistry. And I'm speaking from pulling from personal experience, like those subjects that I thought I was not good at, it was the school was not good at presenting them in a way that reeled me in and made me interested.
You know what? That you are exactly right. So in high school, I was more of a social butterfly than concentrate on my studies. So that was totally my fault. College, I did horrible. I actually failed out of chemistry my first time around. And then I decided to take it because I needed it for my degree in a summer class. And everyone's like, why would you take chemistry in the summer when it's all compacted and you have to spend 9 hours? But I had heard such great things about the professor, and the professor spent time with me. And if I had a question, I could ask him. And unfortunately, with my first professor, the one that I failed out of, he was very, very old. And I feel personally that he didn't care. He was just there doing his thing and didn't actually care if you did well. So I 100% agree. It's how it's delivered. And when people actually take an interest in how you as an individual learn, that's when it makes all the difference.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of females get lost in those very important subjects, math, science.
Exactly.
Those things, because it's number one, it's never been there's never been any training for presenting to girls,
Right.
including girls, and saying, no, listen, like you could do this, right?
Absolutely.
We're starting to get there, but still, like,
Yep.
you
A
know,
little bit sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So now this side hustle you have,
Yeah.
which is so intriguing to me, and I feel like the best thing in the world, and what makes it even better, because I've heard about permanent brick and mortars, but yours is mobile.
Yes, which so to be quite honest, to full disclosure here, when I was thinking about starting the business, I had a fear behind what if it doesn't work, and what if I can't afford it, and what if people think I'm crazy. And sometimes those fears are exactly why I do something. But with that fear was the reason I made it mobile, was because I wanted it to be convenient for my clients, because I wanted to take it to corporate events and I didn't want them to have to figure out how to get to a brick and mortar. I wanted to actually come to you on your lunch break so you could come out, have a stress relief session, and go back in and carry on your workday, be productive. But quite honestly, it was because I'm like, what if this doesn't work? I don't want to have to pay rent. I don't want to have to pay utilities. And then, like we saw with COVID, where the whole world shut down, thank goodness I didn't have a place where I had to pay rent and do all those things. I just had a trailer in my yard that, yes, I had to pay for the trailer and all the stuff to go in it, but I didn't have to pay rent or utilities. So quite honestly, it was a way for me to kind of clear my holy cow, what if this doesn't work? And quite honestly, it turned out to be the best thing ever, because I feel like that's the novelty of it, is you don't have to leave your job. I can just come to you or your home or your whatever. So it worked out pretty good in the end.
Right? No traffic, don't have to worry about parking.
The only problem is I didn't know how to haul a trailer or drive a trailer or back up a trailer. So that, trust me, was terrible experience at first. So, no, you learn.
Exactly. Practice, practice, practice.
Yeah, yep. Oh, crazy. My first event took me 45 minutes to get out of their parking lot. I was so embarrassed. But I have quickly learned in and out. So we're good now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep. I broke out in a little sweat just imagining that.
Oh, yeah. It was nuts.
Yeah. The whole world is looking at me.
Yep.
What made this girl think she could do this? Right? All those voices in your head.
Exactly. Yep.
So tell me then, what were some of the immediate things, like when you first opened the business, like what were some of the immediate effects that you saw in people?
So when I started the business, I thought it would be more of just a fun thing for people to do, let off some steam, do a couple corporate events, do some family, divorce parties, whatever. And it would just be a fun novelty thing. Well, the one thing I noticed right out of the gate was that during these events that were just what I'm calling just strictly a smash event, people would come up to me afterwards and they would tell me they're like, I pictured my mom's alcoholism when I smashed that vodka bottle that you had in there. And I pictured this when I did that. And all my debt, I pictured getting rid of my debt. And they would come up and share some very personal stories with me, which I totally did not expect to happen. And I found that was happening at least one person every single event. And I was like, maybe there's really more to this as a, I call them breakthrough events than they are just fun everyday smash events, if that makes sense.
It absolutely does. There's an empowering letting go.
Absolutely.
So I'll come back to the divorce parties. Does anybody request a big picture of that person at the back of the trailer as the target?
Yes, they have. Yep. I say you get it to me, you can bring your own. You can email it to me and I'll print it out for you. I have a projector. I can project it on the wall if you want. Yes. Yep. I've had it on Valentine's Day.
Oh, that is so brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yep.
Gosh, where was that?
I know.
25 years ago for me.
Yep.
And people, it's funny because like some people shy away from that. Like they think that's horrible. Like, because I can remember when I was going through it, I didn't have that, but sometimes I would verbally vent.
Yes.
And I was working in a I was working in an insurance agency at the time, and commercial lines was upstairs and personal lines was downstairs. And the cubicles are lined up, so there's always
Mhm.
an aisle down the way. And I'd get off of a particularly ornery email or phone call, and I'd walk myself to the bathroom and I'd vent as I was walking down. I'd be
Oh
like,
yeah.
okay, I'd be like, I'd say horrible things, and some people would be, yeah, you go. And other people would be like, I can't believe you're saying that.
I know,
No,
right?
what? No, the line would be that I know I'm venting and I'm not actually going to follow through, people.
Exactly. So that was one of the things, the media, when I first started, was you're promoting violence, and it really took actually not too long for people to realize that it's not promoting violence, it's promoting a safe outlet for people to let their steam off. Because when you don't provide them that, that's when I feel they snap and go off the hook. So while I think we need to change people's thought process on what it is and remind them that it's a safe way to do this.
And
um,
also not violence at all.
Exactly. And yoga's not for everybody. And some people need this. And some people, when I tell them about this, they're like, I wouldn't like that. And that's okay, because this isn't for everybody either. So it really is just depends. But like you say, with venting, a lot of the times people ask me for more video, but I don't have a lot of video footage because people are in the trailer venting, and that's their personal space. And confidentiality is huge for me. So I wouldn't want to put a video of them saying, my mother, blah, 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 or my son, blah, 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 because, that's your personal time to do exactly what you just said: vent and get it out and let it go and be done with it. And I certainly wouldn't want to put that out to the masses. So,
Right. And it's so much healthier than confronting that person with
absolutely.
all of your anger like that, right? So it
Yep.
puts you actually in a place where now I've gotten all the ugly out, it's out of my head.
And
And now,
sometimes that's all it takes. Absolutely.
correct.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Correct.
oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, because that's when I verbally vent, that's exactly what I'm doing. Because if I don't put it out, it's still in here rattling around all day,
Exactly.
and I'm not being productive at anything because
Exactly. And it
that
helps
stuff
clear
is
your
still
mind.
right.
So I had a friend do it. She was going through some stuff, and she's like, I don't think I'm really gonna like that. I said, just try it, and if you don't like it, that's 100% fine. But after she had done it, she goes, I almost didn't realize the stress I had because it was so internalized. But when I finally got into it and was letting it go, she goes, I feel incredible. And just like you had said, you don't know what's weighing on you till you get an opportunity to let it go. So
Right.
one of the things I love the most about it is I help people even though they don't realize it, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's one of the reasons I do these conversations,
Yeah.
actually, is because you never know who's listening and
Mhm.
whoever needs to hear the message. Because right, like you talk about the people who aren't comfortable with the smashing.
Mhm.
My head, I immediately go to, ooh, what were you told as a child?
Well, so that's the one thing I'm trying to overcome right now is in all of our workshops, everyone's like, "Ugh, I don't know if we want people to be breaking stuff." And like you had said, you're always told you break it, you bought it. It's dangerous if you break it. Or when you do break it, everyone freaks out and they're like, move away, I'll clean it up. But if you do it safely and consciously, you can totally work through all that stuff.
Right. And as children, when you accidentally drop that glass of milk or you're roughhousing and something bounces off a
Mhm.
shelf, you're in trouble.
Exactly. Yep.
Right. And there's shame around that. And I would
Mhm.
like to say, I invite the people who are having an issue with it to go and do it anyway and see what happens.
Exactly.
Come back to me. And if it was the absolute wrong thing to do, I will buy you an ice cream and flowers.
Yes.
But I don't think I'll be spending my money.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think I think they'll quickly realize that there is something to it. One of the things too, we had kind of touched on. So I've been divorced and in and out of therapy for whatever reason or whatever I was going through. But one of the things, like writing the letter, they always had you write a letter to the person you were mad at, or write something on a piece of paper and rip it up and throw it away. So
Burn it.
um, in a lot of our workshops, that's what we have people do. I offer them a piece of glass and they get to write on it with a marker, and then when they go out to the trailer they get to actually break it. So I almost say it's like writing on the paper and throwing it away on steroids, because you actually just get to smash it to smithereens. So along those same lines, so I really think there is some research,
Empowerment.
well, empowerment behind it and research, because the therapists are having you do it. They're just having you do it on paper.
I just now want to have a whole party where I invite women to like write down those voices that they haven't been able to get out of their head yet.
Yep,
You know,
exactly.
those things that they tell themselves, like, you know, oh, I'm not good enough. Yeah,
Exactly. Yep.
kind of thing. I would
Uh-huh.
love to do a women's empowerment party.
Well, you let me know.
Yeah. Friends, if you're listening, hit me up. Let's make it happen. Let's all
Let's do
share
it.
the share the cost and
Yep.
get rid of smash some of those voices in our head and let them out.
And it really is, just like you said, the word is empowering. It really is.
What other things about this business that you've had now for a couple of years, what else has surprised you about it?
Um, I think the community aspect. One of the things I really wanted to do is make it all about community. And I guess I wouldn't say it surprised me, because I think when you have a goal in mind, it's not a surprise. But just the way the community has come together and embraced it as an option for getting the word out about mental health, or just supporting community in general. I'm currently working on a community mosaic project where we're trying to give a thank you to our healthcare heroes in the Capital District. And I'm hoping that it brings the community together in this cool art project. So people, through projects, I guess, I never would have met you if it weren't for Brandon. And the way she found me was through that community art project post. So the connections I've made have just been probably my most prized and exciting and not unforeseen, that's not the right word, but
A
I guess
happy surprise?
yeah, surprising thing is just the community that comes together to support women in business, and the fact that I don't half the time know what I'm doing, and people are just right there to support you and help you through it and figure it out. And if they don't know, they have a connection that knows. So the network um, is surprising and not at the same time.
Yeah.
Very
I'll,
cool.
you know, when we're growing up as girls, as females, there's this, and
Mhm.
I'd love us to smash the myth. Not that there mean girls aren't out there,
Right.
but there comes a point where you need to let it go. High school's horrible. High school is horrible. Unless you're one of the, 3% of girls who wish they were still in high school. The rest of
Right.
us, not so much.
I know.
We went to college and went, oh, wow, this is
Whole
what it could
different
have been
world.
like. Yeah. But as a general rule, women really do want to support other women,
Yes,
right?
agree.
Because when one of us wins, we all win.
Absolutely.
And when you give, you get back. And
Mm-hmm.
that support web is really strong. And it is surprising because when we start our things, right, like
Mm-hmm.
what I do, it's
Yep.
about what I do. And
Right.
I'm not thinking about, you know, the other women who have nothing to do with it but find value in it and can support you and lift you and go, oh, here, talk to this person, or oh my gosh, I'm going to
Absolutely.
send this woman your way, let me know if she contacts you.
Mm-hmm.
um is really fairly amazing. And I don't know if anybody noticed, but I got a big smile on my face when you said community. That's
Yes.
one of
Yep.
my words, right?
Oh yeah.
Community, contact,
Yep.
connection.
Uh-huh.
Those are my core desired feelings. Like I need those to be a happy person, a complete
Same. Yep.
person. So I love that that can happen. So you're really based out of more down the Albany way, or are you up here?
So I actually operate out of my home in Rensselaer. So
Oh, okay.
Rensselaer, however you say it. I always get corrected. So I'm not from the area, but Rensselaer.
Oh, Rentler. Some of
Rensselaer.
us
Yes,
say.
I hear that too. Like whatever you want to call it, the other side of the river.
Yeah. So many sides to the river, and
Yes, exactly.
we also need to normalize that everybody's okay on both sides of the river,
Yes,
people.
exactly.
There are good people in Rentler.
I know.
Case in point. But so what is your travel boundaries? Do you have any?
So I will go anywhere. Typically, my pricing includes a 25-mile radius, but I will certainly go wherever. I think the farthest I've gone so far is, excuse me, Hartwick College hired me 2 summers ago for a stress fair they were having. St. Lawrence College is hiring me this summer for something way out there. So I'll go anywhere as long as I can get the trailer there. Sometimes it's super expensive to haul that thing, especially now that gas prices are going way, way up. So I've actually just came up with a more portable plan. I actually have a tent system now so I can literally go anywhere. If someone wanted me in Virginia and I'm up for a drive, I'll go to Virginia, wherever. So,
without the trailer, but with a tent?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and I can do indoor events now because of this tent system that I have. It actually works out really well. I tested it out again yesterday. Everything's contained. Everything is all in one little space. So, because I found that one of the things when I was doing the stress fair at Hartwick, because I have it's a pretty large trailer. I'm limited to where I can park it. I need to be in a parking lot or parking spaces. And their fair was down in the gym. So I was very separate. And while a lot of people came up, I feel like I missed out on a good number of people because they didn't want to walk up the hill or whatever.
Right.
So this tent system is really going to make that not even an issue anymore.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
How large is the tent?
It's a 10 by 10 and it's specially constructed to be tall enough so a tall person can, swing a bat in there and do whatever. We have multiple layers of tarps and stuff so we can catch everything. And then there's a specially constructed floor and a makeshift wall you can still throw stuff at. So while you're not getting the full experience you would inside the trailer, it's pretty darn close.
That's amazing. Because now I'm thinking of all what kind of festivals during festival season would want to do this? Not even my business, but I want to see it everywhere.
Possibilities are endless.
Right? I'm even thinking, you know what? The yoga festival at Stratton, they need this.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a yoga festival.
Oh my gosh, yes, every year.
No,
I'll get back to you.
Okay. Yeah.
They have several locations. I think they do one in Virginia too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
To wrap that up, I'll go wherever. No, as long as I can get there, I will get there.
Nice. Beautiful. So. Like now I'm thinking even, a lot of people have family reunions, like in parks, like at SPAC and stuff. That would be a wonderful thing to have at a family.
I know, right? I do find that around Thanksgiving time when everybody knows they're going to be with their family, I get a lot of calls. Yeah. It was like, I'm going to need to break this. I'm like, okay, just call me up. I'll show right up.
It should be done at Thanksgiving.
Right?
People should have permission to leave the table, go smash something, and come back. I'm thinking family gatherings would be so much better.
Yes, it's so funny. I do a lot of mother-daughter events and father-son events too. It's so cool to see how such I call it weird thing. It's not really a weird thing. How a different outside the box thing brings people together. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
Right? Yeah, because you get to see all these different combinations of people who are coming to it that you would never expect. Exactly. So tell me, why would a mother and daughter do it?
So I can tell you about the latest. Obviously, 2020 was kind of a wash for me. I didn't do anything with COVID, but the year before, communication between mothers and especially I find teenagers or even younger now, even my friends that have children that are 9 and 10 years old, they're feeling like this huge gap. I think maybe it has something to do with the technology. So sometimes they have an old phone and that's what they're arguing over all the time is time on a tablet or phone. I'm like, come on to the trailer, bring the tablet, yell at each other, talk with each other. What are you arguing about? And just to have them, they're not really yelling at each other, but it's sometimes a heated conversation between the two. But it's funny because then they start laughing because when you threw that, it bounced back and hit the tablet or whatever. And it's just this interesting way of just letting them get it out because sometimes I have found that they just don't know how to start the conversation. And then when you add a fun little twist to it, the conversation just flows and then you laugh about it and it's over.
I also think it would be great for couples who are thinking about the long-term arrangements.
Yes.
Right? Because that's something you don't talk about, and so much psychologically would come to light about, the hesitation.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Right? I feel like there's some form of premarital therapy that can happen by doing that after
That's
you're
actually a great
engaged.
idea. I'll have to think about that.
What I have not a formal marketing education, but man, my brain works that way in
I love
mysterious
it.
ways. There's so many different approaches you could come from for this.
Yep.
Um, what else? Tell me, do you have any like firm repeat customers?
I do actually. So most of the people, the companies that hired me when I was very first starting, they've signed up for this spring. Like I said, 2020 was kind of a wash, and I took the break. I actually got very lazy during 2020. I was like, I got nothing going on, but so I'm really trying to get people, up and running again. But yeah, so I do have repeat customers, and the cool thing too is while I was on that break. Um, I was on the break from doing the events, but not from obviously thinking about it. I have teamed up with a neurolinguistics practitioner. I never can say it right. And we have come together to form workshops for corporate events. So a lot of the people that were doing just smash events are now signing up with us to do communication programs or financial programs with us, because when they can get their employees not thinking about finances or communication or whatever, they can focus and be more clear and more productive at work. So we find now that while they're booking less smash events, they're actually booking us for corporate workshops.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. So that's
That's
fun.
beautiful. So what is your partner that you do that with? What is, I don't understand her job. Tell me
So
what is.
yeah. So so we've come together. So stress fracture, when I first started out, like I had mentioned in the beginning, I was finding that what I thought this fun thing was going to be was leaning towards more meaningful, but I didn't know how to make it a more meaningful experience. And at the same time, my friend Christina, she's a local author and wrote a book called Let My Legacy Be Love. And I had read her book, and it was a very relatable book. And I was like, I feel like we had the same childhood growing up. So I had to meet this woman. And when I sat with her and met with her, she was talking about how she was traveling all over, talking to large groups about basically like what we had talked about, how to get unstuck. Like, what are you afraid of? What's holding you back? And then she would find that people would come up to her and say, that was such a hard topic to talk about. I didn't realize I had all these feelings around it. So she was looking for a way to make her very sensitive topics more fun. So we had come together to say, well, you're looking to make more sensitive fun, and I'm looking to make more fun sensitive. Let's collaborate together. And we unofficially call ourselves the Breakthrough Squad.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah. So we have come together because she has done a lot of research on what stress does on the central nervous system, and how to basically get unstuck or get out of your own way. So we've come together. She's kind of, I call her the brains, and then I'm the fun. So we've come together to take these programs to the masses, so they're meaningful and fun at the same time.
Nice. Lovely. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, great.
So where do you have any future additions or twists or looking forward in your business?
Yeah, so I'm hoping to have a bunch of community art projects. My goal is to use all these broken pieces. Let me take a step back. So one of the things when I very first started, or even today when people say, I don't want to break that, it's such a pretty plate, or blah, 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 I try to tell them, don't worry about it. Each individual item typically has a life cycle with me. I get all of my items pretty much through donation. And then when someone breaks that object, I actually take the time and separate it out into type of glass, color of glass, and I either donate it to local artists and they turn it back into something beautiful, or I save it. And then the people that actually take some of our workshops, they take that glass themselves and recreate it into mosaics. And so this way they can see that there really is beauty in the broken pieces. So that's one of the things I would love, and we're working on with a couple of local artists for hopefully fall of this year, is to make a mosaic in a community space where people can come, break through their issues, offer a smash event for them, and then see that those broken pieces can then be put back together in a beautiful something. I'd love for it to be in a community spot where people can go and reflect, like a community garden or something. So that's what I'm hoping to do large scale, at least when I talk about community. And then just getting our programs up and running. We actually, Christina and I have something in the works. It's called Finding Your Voice.
Mhm.
And we've brought in a local singer, Gianna Robustiano, and she has gone through a lot of trauma in her life. And she recently had approached us and said, I want to help people with my story. So how do I do that? And she's an incredible singer. So we're coming up with a program. It's called Finding Your Voice, and it's 3 generations, because Christina is 20 years older than me and Gianna is 20 years younger than me. So it's 3 generations of women with a common purpose. And we're just gonna, sort of like, I guess what you're doing, where it's real people talking about real issues and hopefully providing real results based on, our personal experiences. So I'm super excited about that, because I feel like the age gap is going to be really relatable for people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Love that. Love that. Keep me in the loop, please.
I will.
Yeah. So how has it impacted your life opening up this side business? I mean, there's a lot of obvious ways it impacted your life. Like, people forget that every new business comes with its own set of stresses.
Right.
But what are the happy gifts that it's given to you?
I think, like I had mentioned before, just the community and the relationships with people I never would have met otherwise. One of my favorite stories came out of COVID last year, actually. I really like to help people that don't suspect anything. So during COVID, when masks were just, everyone had to wear a mask, there was a woman who ran a business called Kima Creations. And I had purchased some masks with her. And at the time, I knew people either weren't getting paid, some people just lost their jobs, so they didn't have any money. And I was still getting paid from my full-time job. So I wanted to help people that weren't getting paid. So I had asked this woman, Kima, and I said, if you had an extra $50, what would you do with it? And to my surprise, she didn't say I'd, go get a coffee or a dinner. She said I would hire someone to help me. I'm going to cry thinking about it. So I love.
I've been watching your eyes.
Oh, so she said, I would use it to, help someone help me make more masks because I want to save more lives. So that I got chills just thinking about it. So I was like, holy moly. So I put a call out to my Facebook group and I said, does anyone want to match my $50 donation to Kima Creations? And my circle just flooded her with donations. And I don't know, maybe 2 months ago, she had got on Facebook and said, someone paid it forward to me back when COVID first starting, and now I want to pay it back to she's calling it her village. So she created Kima's Village, and now people donate into her, and she's giving out, things to people in need. And it just had this ripple effect just from, she's like, I don't think you have the impact you made on me that day because of you. You made me realize that I can make my dream happen. So that's, I think, my favorite story, is just because I helped just a random person, and now I consider her one of my dearest friends, and now she's just helping, to see the people she's helping. It's just incredible to me. So I think in the end, that's what it is for me. It's that community. And because I feel like we're a very fractured society anymore, with the division between politics and you name it. Just looking at someone wrong makes someone mad today. And just to know that people help each other and you don't even know each other. I always say strangers helping strangers. That's my favorite part that's come from the business.
That's beautiful. I love that so much. I was having a conversation with a couple of people last week. I was like, I can't wait till the masks can come off. I said, because one of my things I always intentionally, when I'm out in public, of catching people's eyes and giving a small smile, right? Like it's such a simple, I don't have to break my stride, but I feel like even if I do that at 20 people over the course of my being out and about, maybe there's one person who needed that smile today.
Absolutely. I
To
100%.
have that perfect stranger walk by, acknowledge their existence, look them in the
Mhm.
eye for 2, 3 seconds and
Exactly.
smile and know that they're not alone,
Yeah.
right?
Feels so
Yeah.
good, doesn't it? I know it breaks, not breaks my heart, makes my heart so warm. I love it.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we're always worried about the big things and we don't have money to. It's the simplest things can make a difference. And like you're talking about the ripple effect, you have no idea,
Yep.
right?
I had no clue I had that, an impact on her at all. And just, yeah, I don't know. It literally still leaves me kind of speechless. And she's doing incredible, incredible things with it. So, yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That's beautiful because that person who caught the smile may change
Mhm.
the entire trajectory of their day. They may now go and have the hard conversation that they didn't know how to start, or
Exactly.
let go what somebody just said to them that made
Mhm.
them feel horrible. Whatever it is,
Yep.
such a small thing, and we can all do that. We
We
can
sure
all
can.
just give a little kindness away every day, and it
Exactly.
doesn't cost a thing.
Well, like you said, it doesn't even have to be a spoken word. It could literally just be the eye contact. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So I love the whole ripple effects. Love it, love it, love
Yeah.
it. Um, how booked out are you?
So I'm filling up for the spring. So April and May, they're getting pretty full. I have the luxury of being able to take time off during the day from my day job. And typically, because most of my events are corporate, they are during the week. So it really just depends, on the schedule, whether or not I can fit something in. And I typically try to, but I think I'm booking into May already.
That's awesome. So you hear
Yeah.
that, people. If you're thinking about it, you need to at least schedule it in because you've got time.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's
Exactly.
going to be summer.
I know.
It's going to be summer.
I know it's hard to believe it's almost the end of March already.
Yeah. Yeah. And I had heard yesterday that 50 and up are being released to have their shots in New York
Oh yeah.
today.
Oh
I
wow.
believe that changed today. I forgot this morning. I should have
Uh-huh.
gone on and looked. I could have had my shot scheduled.
Yeah.
But so with the rapidness of everybody getting their vaccinations, the way it's been rolled out over the last couple of months, I feel like we're all a lot more hopeful that we're going to actually get some of that some of those summer things we've been missing out on back.
Yeah, I hope so. I just saw a friend of mine post that she was hugging her grandkids for the first time in a year, and like talk about a tearjerker, and because they were all vaccinated. So I was like, oh, so
I've
there
been,
is hopefully light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of videos. Those are becoming videos like soldiers coming home.
Oh really?
A lot of grandparents seeing the grandkids for this first time. I saw
Yep.
one yesterday and it wrecked me. It was like a 9-year-old boy. He's playing basketball in his driveway, right? And he's
Mhm.
talking to somebody in the house and he turns around and his face drops and he just drops the ball and he starts bawling and runs
Oh,
and grabs them both and holds them for like it seemed like an eternity, but it was like 5 minutes and he's
yep.
just crying because he hadn't
It's
seen them in a year.
It's so insane. And I think we forget that, as humans, that's what we crave. We crave touch and connection and closeness. So to be told, don't come anywhere near anybody, it's had to have taken a toll on everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw another one with a man obviously in his 90s and he's approaching the kids and he's like he turns to the person next to him, he goes, "Do you think they'll remember me?"
Oh, I cry over everything.
Me too. Me too. Um,
So
if you
bad.
ever need a partner to collaborate with for a tear fest, I'm your
All
girl.
right, perfect. I have a feeling we'll do good at that.
Yeah. So
So
I think we should have COVID smash parties at some
I think
point
we
towards
should.
right
Yeah.
at the end of the year.
Yep.
Get some germ plates to smash.
Well, that would be great. Let's do it.
Yeah. Um, so what else do you want to impart with people who might be on the fence about this or think it's really kind of like silly, like who really needs that? What do you want to
Yeah.
say to those people?
So I think one of the things I definitely try to drive home is the safety aspect, because I think that is what a lot of people, their initial reaction is like, is it safe? One of the things that, well, first of all, um, I have to have liability insurance. I'm required to have that, and I do. When you come to me, I make sure that you have all the safety gear required. You're in a full face shield covering your head, your face, your neck. You get cut resistant gloves. You get a full like a jumpsuit, if you will, big thick rubber gloves if you want. You're not required to have those, but everything is available for you to keep it safe. I have yet to shed blood, so that is something I
That's
like to tell.
something.
Exactly. And again, when you're doing it in a controlled environment, it really can be done safely. So you have to throw out all of those things like we mentioned before. Just because you were told constantly as a child that it's unsafe or you broke it, it's dangerous, that's not always the case when you are doing it in a controlled environment, which we are. So I definitely like to make sure people realize that. And then the one thing too, a lot of times it's I don't want to break a perfectly good bowl, or I don't want to break a perfectly good saucer. And again, nothing is going to waste. I would say up to date, not a single thing has gone to the trash for me. Local artists have taken it. People have taken the glass, my other glass, to turn it into sea glass. So don't worry about that sort of thing. There is a really beautiful life cycle to all the things that are donated. And the other thing is to really just try it, let it go. Some of the corporate events I've had where people are, I'm doing it just because I have to do it and everybody else is doing it. I find and have found that those are the people that have the most fun in there, because they typically don't know how to let go. And when they finally are, I don't want to say forced to try it, but when they do, because it's not something they would typically do, they're the ones that are in there laughing and giggling and saying, give me more stuff. So I think that too is kind of one of the things I enjoy most about it, is not only the community, but the people's shift in their mindset, I think, is what I like the most. And actually hearing the giggles and the holy cow, that was so fun. And it really, when I get down on the why am I doing this, and I had a year with COVID where I didn't have any events and I got really discouraged, then someone came along to do it, and to hear the mothers and daughters talking through their stuff, it really is not only fun, it's therapeutic.
Yeah, I love it. Also, I would like to bring up the point that anger is like why is it a taboo topic, right?
Good. Yes, good
Right?
point.
And anger is not a bad emotion. None of our emotions are bad, right? What we do
Exactly.
with it can be bad.
Agreed.
Boulder, Colorado. Let's
Mm-hmm.
Once a
Yep.
week when we're faced with something about,
Mm-hmm.
tell me that's not about complete anger and sadness. And
Right.
anger is just a manifestation of sadness,
Right.
extreme sadness that is not, claimed or reclaimed, turns
Mm-hmm.
into anger.
Yep.
Um, and it's perfectly okay to find ways to express your anger that isn't harmful to other people or yourself.
Exactly. So it's interesting that you say reclaim. So what we're calling, in my collaboration with Christina, our flagship program is called Breakthrough, Reveal, Release, and Reclaim. And what we try to do with that is help people to reveal what that underlying issue is. Because typically, like you had said, that feeling that people are feeling isn't typically the actual feeling. It's something else that has manifested into that, just like you had said. So we have a workshop where we help people identify what that is or reveal it. Then they get to release it, which is the breaking part, where they write those things on a piece of glass. They have that physical expression of ridding it from their psyche, we like to say, and then reclaiming. Because without understanding those two, understanding why it's happening, letting it go, you can't really reclaim your life until you understand why it's happening. And then we do that reclaim part typically through an art project and something that reminds them, like a plant, to nurture the things they've learned in their life going forward. So the fact that you just said reclaim just reminded me of that program, and how you get to understand why you might be angry or sad, or what those underlying issues are that you're actually feeling. So a lot of times I was feeling um, sad, let's say, but it wasn't really sadness. I was feeling lonely, and lonely is definitely different than sad. So you almost can't compartmentalize because you only know sadness, or you know, it's hard to explain, but
Right,
yeah.
because if it's something that happened a long time ago and you've never worked through the,
Yep.
the emotions,
Hmm.
it's just that, yeah, I don't know why, but I've been angry forever,
Yep.
for
Exactly.
instance.
Yeah.
And wow, everybody out there who's having some kind of a mental health event on your
Hmm.
horizon really needs to think about hiring Jackie and the tent or the trailer, because
Yes.
I think that it has a place at every mental health event.
Yes, I truly think it is absolutely helpful and
Yeah,
fun.
and I love how with that program that you're talking about, that they go home with something tangible,
Yep, exactly. So
right?
we
Like
call it
how
totem.
beautiful to have something in their house that when they look at it, it's a reminder of yes.
Yep.
When you get in that space again where you want to tuck that emotion back here and not
Mhm.
quite deal with it because that's been your go-to for so long. Now
Exactly.
have a reminder of no, there is a different way and you've learned a different way and
Absolutely.
you didn't die.
Exactly. Yep.
Because
You got it.
that's the fear we have, like this. I know this pain, I know this horrible thing that I'm dealing with. A lot of us are sometimes afraid of opening it up and dealing with all the stuff to get to the other side. It's
Exactly. And
really
it is a
right,
lot of work.
we're more comfortable in the
What you know. Yep,
in the
exactly.
shit that we're sitting in.
Exactly.
Right? It's
Yep.
shit, but I've been here a long time and it's my shit.
Exactly.
Sorry
It's
for
comfortable.
everybody who hasn't listened to me before. I do have a potty mouth. And if you notice, it's not rampant all the time. I just think there are some times where I'm not going to pretty the words.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
and in this
But
case,
you're absolutely right. That is, I often say it's the fear of the unknown. Is you're like you said, as crappy as this feels, you know what this feels, and you don't know. It could be good, it could be worse, it could be worse and then get good. You don't know, but oftentimes it's what you do know, and that's why you stay there. And that's one of the things I really really hope that stress fracture can do, especially in collaboration with Let My Legacy Be Love and Christina, is help people get unstuck,
yeah,
because there's an incredible world out there, that is
so
at your
much so.
fingertips if you're not afraid. Yeah.
So much so. I mean, who are you talking to? This is actually my work, right?
Yep.
Like resilience is my jam and it's getting
Uh-huh.
to the other side
Yep.
because every time it's a little bit better, folks. And I am proof. I
Hmm.
have the receipts.
Yep.
Resilience isn't something I just talk about and try and teach you. It's actually my life.
Love it.
And I can show you my receipts.
Uh-huh.
Every time I've had to bounce back, I've always ended up in a better place.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
crap happens for a reason, but we don't have to stay there.
Well, and I think that exactly is the point. It's what you do with that when it does happen. Are you going to sit and sulk? Are you going to,
Right.
I think it's important to take the time to sulk if that's what you need.
Absolutely.
But it's the moving on after you do that sulking that really makes your life that much better.
Absolutely. Resilient people like myself, it's not that we don't feel the hits, we don't take the hits. We
Hmm.
just don't stay there and we do not get stuck.
Exactly.
We do not get stuck. And it's not something you have to either.
Nope.
You don't. It doesn't have to be this way.
Nope.
So, is there anything else you want to leave our people with today as a final thought?
No, just try it out. I think you'll be glad you did. And if you have any questions whatsoever, you can reach me, on my website or Facebook or
All
wherever.
the links, if you're watching this, all her links are there. If for some reason you can't press the links, you know where to find me. Hit me up. I will make the connection for you.
Yes,
Right?
let's get you unstuck.
Let's get you unstuck. The more unstuck, the better. There is so
Yes,
much joy on the other side of stuck,
there
people.
really is.
Other side of stuck. I have one last ask for
Sure.
people. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I also take the audio and put it up on my podcast. You'll see my links too. Subscribe. It it helps. It helps widen the audience when you subscribe. It helps those algorithms of the YouTube and the podcasting so more people can be reached. More people will get the message. More people can get unstuck. More people can live in joy.
Yes.
Can't have too much joy.
No, you can't.
Jackie, thank you so much for having this conversation. I love that I can take a subject that doesn't seem like it has any mental health relation whatsoever, but I will find it every time.
Exactly. I love it.
There is not one thing you can bring to my table that I won't find a way to put a positive mental health spin on it. It's everywhere. It's
It sure is.
everywhere. Thank you so much for taking the
Thank
time
you.
out of your day. Thank you so much for listening, people. Any new people, so glad you found us. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye, people. See you next time.